Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, the dope ass dude, and I am so excited to have you with me on tonight, and so excited about the conversation that we are about to have, because I know that it is going to be life-changing on tonight. So I'm really excited about it. So just a couple of preliminary things. You guys already know it. If you are not subscribed to the podcast on YouTube, if you don't mind going ahead, clicking on subscribe. And while you're clicking on subscribe, go ahead and click on notification so that you can be notified each and every time a new episode is uploaded to the site. And then while you're there, go ahead and click on that like so that this video can be shared with others just like yourself. So click on that like so that it can get in the algorithms and get shared all over the place. And then if you are on the go, you can always listen to the podcast on Apple and Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. And you can listen to it on iHeartRadio. So that's, again, on the go listeners, you can listen to it on Apple and Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify and iHeartRadio. And if you're not following me on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow me on both platforms at the Dope Ass Dude Podcast, on both Instagram and TikTok, the Dope Ass Dude Podcast. And then just a couple of quick things. We'll get this out a little bit later as well. If you want to follow Angie, she is on both Instagram and TikTok. You can follow her on Instagram. She is at Creole Author. And on TikTok, she is at Creole Angie. So you can follow her on both platforms. And then on Facebook, you can find her at Angie, the author and life coach. So just a quick little thing about Angie. You know, I'm always looking for new and exciting guests to have on the podcast, people that I can learn from and that people that inspire me. So when I was looking for a guest, I came across Angie's content. Actually, she invited me to like her page because we were already friends on Facebook. She invited me to like her page, and I went out to like her page. And when I went out there, I checked it out and I saw some of her content. And she is an extraordinary woman. She's on her journey and she's living her life. And I like how she is a life coach and she's inspiring other people along the way through her deeds, her actions, and her words. So I know Angie can introduce herself better than I can. So I'm going to bring her on out. Angie, what's going on?
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Oh, good. How sweet. That was a sweet introduction.
Oh, hey, I'm only speaking the truth. Like I said, when I came across your page, and I tell you this, you know, when I came across your page, I checked out your content and you got some really good stuff out there. And I love watching people inspire people. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am Angie. Well, Angenica. Everybody call me Angie. I'm from Louisiana. I went to Grambling State University and have a psychology degree, have one daughter, but accolades is I'm an author. I write journals. I have one children's book. I'm a life coach. And that just another, put it all in a nutshell, just simple.
So how did you get into writing?
Well, I was an educator for so many years and teaching second, third, and fourth grade. To be completely transparent, I had some of the fourth graders that wasn't grateful for nothing. Okay. So they was not grateful. So I decided to write a children's book. And I always wanted to write a children's book. And I didn't know what to write about. So I just decided, to give homage to my dad. His nickname is June. And so I decided to do June's favorite desserts. And of course, I love cupcakes. So I hope the little twist is the cupcakes portion. But I want a children's book basically teaching kids about appreciation. Because our generation is different from the generation of underneath us. It's completely different. And so I wanted kids to know it's okay to be nice. It's okay to be appreciative if you don't get something that you wanted to get. So that's what I put in the book. Just about a little boy named June who go through a little stuff at school, people being mean to him, but he overcame it by being nice. But at the end of the book, he got his reward. So I just wanted to make sure it was purposeful and meaningful.
Yeah, and I know you said you taught third and fourth graders.
Mhm.
So these kids nowadays, they are a different breed of humans.
Uh,
They just different, and even in third, fourth, kindergarten, they're just different now. When you
PK
and
before they born. I'm just joking, but yes.
and trust me, I appreciate the fact that parents are giving their kids the opportunity to have a voice. They have a voice because when I was growing up, we really didn't have a voice. It was what your parents said, you went along with it, and that was bottom line. But now kids have like a voice. They can say no, they don't want to do something and
Mhm.
whatever. So how was that transition in teaching that young of a group for you?
You know what? I'm old school. I came from, like I said, a bayous of Louisiana, and we say yes, ma'am. We say no, ma'am. We say yes, sir. We say no, sir. So when I moved to Texas and I seen kids like yeah, no, I'm like, took me back a little bit. So it was a big transition, and so I had to incorporate the respect portion within my classroom. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't care what you say to other teachers. I didn't tell them that, but you're gonna say yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're gonna raise your hand. You're gonna be respectful. We're gonna stay in the kids' place because Miss Craft love you. And at the end of the day, I have your back. But what we're not gonna do, I'm not your friend. I'm your teacher. I'm your elder. And that's how it was. And it
So
worked.
was that okay? So was that a hard transition for them though?
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
not at all. Okay, wow, that's pretty good.
You had some little pushback, but we could push it back. Yeah, try it. But but I had came from a campus that a lot of teachers were like that. We put our foot down and we loved our kids and we appreciated our parents that was very supportive. We had our supportive administration. So it wasn't hard because it was a family at this campus I was at. So it wasn't hard. Mm-mm.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
So just so everybody knows, so you have one children's book, but you also have 10 journals,
Yes.
right? 10 journals that you've released, published, and released. So let's talk a little bit about that because I love your new journal, the 2024 Vision Board. So let's talk about that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so the 2024 vision board, it just a lot of people do vision boards these days, and their affirmation and mantras, their New Year's resolution. So I create a journal that just focusing totally on your vision for 2024. How do that look like? What it is? What do you want it to be? What are you trying to manifest? So that it just write out your vision inside your journal. You could, go to work, after work, your break, like, when you have your meditation time or when you have your quiet time, just write out your vision inside your journal because it's small, it's compact. And a lot of people do vision boards, which you do it one time and you put it up, but you may change your vision, on a daily basis or weekly basis. I want to do this or whatever. So the journal is very compact and you can bring it anywhere. So that inspired me to create that vision board for 2024.
Bobby, and I love how you said that you can change up your vision because a lot of people
Mhm.
they are under the impression that once you put it out there, it's set. You
Yeah.
can't change it. So you can change a vision board along throughout the year.
Yes, yes. Look, get one thing that you want to focus on, and then you may want to add a little here, a little spice here, a little spice there, and because that's you. This is your life. This is your path. No one said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," and I can't change it. This is your life. Change it and go with the flow. Don't overthink it. Because when we get stuck on one thing and we can't change it, that's when you be like, oh my God, that's when stress comes. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Now, yes, I'm not saying be all over the place and I have a focal point, but if you need to just change something and focus on something else, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. Make it simple.
Wow. And I think that is something that people struggle with is change. So how do you get over that hump of the fear of change or resistance to change? Because a lot of us, we're not fearful of change. We just have got to a place in our life that we're like, I'm here, I'm good, and this is the way, this is as good as it gets. So how do people get out of their mindset into changing their lives to be better?
Okay, so let me say this. If they think they're good, let them be. You see what I'm saying? Because that's for me. That's me personally. If I feel like I'm good, allow me to be good. Now, if they want to change, that's a different story. Now you have to do the work. And then you have to, whatever you I pray to God. So whatever your religious or your spiritual belief, whatever you pay homage to or you pray, whoever you pray to, go to that source. And that's your only way. But if you say, hey, I don't want to change, so be it. So be it. This is your life. But if you do, then you put in your work. Then you go and you do the work. What do you need to change? How do you need to change? What path you need to go on in order to change?
Okay, so let's talk about that work because we
Mhm.
hear that all the time. We hear people
Mhm.
say all the time, you got to put in the work. What does that mean? What does put in the work mean?
I thought it's for myself because everybody gonna be different. Everybody who put in the work is going to be completely different. Okay, for me, I had to say, let me give background on myself. About 3 years ago, I was going through a lot mentally, and so I had to put in the work. So I put in the work by creating my spirituality. So I got more spiritual. So I put in the work for that, and then I wasn't at a space in my life that I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel like I wasn't good enough for anything. And so I was in a dark space. So I had to put in the work because I was tired of that tightness, that closeness. So when I put in the work, I got books. I changed what I listened to. I love Mary J. Blige. I do her old school stuff. But I started listen to songs that was more inspirational, like more spiritual. And that made a difference for me. So I put in the work with my spirituality. I put in the work with I read. I put in the work of the people I surround myself with. I put in the work of just everything in my life. So it depends on that person.
Wow. So
Mhm.
I think at some point, most people have experienced that whole I'm not good enough
Mhm.
feeling. They've experienced that. It don't always have to be about a relationship. It could be about a promotion on a job. You may think
Mhm.
that I'm not qualified for that, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. So when you have a client that comes to you and they are experiencing that I'm not good enough era of their life, that moment of their life, how do you coach them out of that?
First, I says who? Who says you're not good enough? Says who? Look in the mirror. You are what God created you to be. So once you realize that you're good enough, then your energy, your aura, everybody else gonna see. And I'm gonna tell you something. Like I tell my clients, my friends, my family, whoever come to me, you could be in a room and you could be dressed in black, a hoodie on, and just your vibrations could be really high. And then somebody else could come in the room with Gucci on, this on, whatever, loud talking, just all over the place, but their vibration is low. But guess who is speaking the loudest without even opening their mouth? Is that person with a high vibration. So get your vibration up. So when that person really start believing themselves and walking as if it doesn't matter, I am good enough, I am that person, that's when it's going to change for that person. I mean, that individual. It's going to change. Hmm. Trust me, I've
Yeah,
been
so okay, so just going a little bit deep in that. So,
there.
like a lot of us, and I'd say us, and I'm just talking people in general, we have been told that in our entire lives. So we've been programmed in that. We've told as a kid and made, and maybe not told that way, but we were made to feel that way. So we translated that as okay, I'm not good enough. And it trickled over into every facet of our life. We
Mhm.
haven't shook it off. So
Mhm.
is it as easy as just saying, I believe I'm good enough that
Mhm.
it changes it? So like what do we do in those type of situations?
You know what? That's part of journaling. That's part of shadow work. Okay, I don't know if you heard of shadow work before. It's something spiritual. It's when you write out your fears, what you write out your childhood trauma, like you said, something you've been through when you was a kid or whatever. You write that out. You write a letter to yourself, and then whoever hurt you, whoever told you wasn't good enough, you may have to face those demons because that's gonna always linger on you. That's always gonna be your everyday, yeah, it's gonna always gonna be there every day. So you have to identify your problems first, do your shadow work. Shadow work is just simple journaling. That's it, simple journaling about when you was a kid. You may have to write letters to that person, maybe never mail it, but you got to let it go. So, but before you let it go, you literally have to do the work, identifying it, embracing it. Say, okay, this will happen. I'm gonna forgive that person. Because see, that the key is forgiving. And once you forgive that person who said all those things, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, that's when it's gonna start changing. That's when the results gonna start. So
Yeah.
it's so many different layers.
Yeah, and forgiveness is so important in your journey of healing. It's so important in your journey of healing. Sometimes we don't want to forgive people because we're like they don't deserve that forgiveness. But the misconception with forgiveness that forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. It's for you
Exactly.
to release those
Mhm.
things and for you to move past and let go of those type of things. And it doesn't I think one other misconception of forgiveness is that people think I forgive you today and that's supposed to be for a lifetime. No, sometimes forgiving is every day. That same transgression, you have to wake up and consciously forgive people sometimes every day until it no longer impacts you. It's
That.
not something you do one time and be like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm done with it. No, 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 no. Some things you got to forgive folks for
Mhm.
every day for years sometimes.
Mhm. Yes, I agree with that because trust me, it was. 'Cause I hate when people say forgive and forget. You can't forgive and forget. It's gonna always be there, but it's how you address it that you really forgive that person. Because trust me, people that did me wrong. Trust me, for no apparent reason. And in order for me not to have a stroke, in order for me not to have a wrinkle on my face or additional wrinkles, whatever case may be, I had to forgive those people. And then it was so hard. Lord knows it was so hard. But when I started praying for them people, not only praying that what they did to me, this and this and this, but God bless them. When I started praying that prayer, that's when I could sleep better because it hurts when somebody do you wrong. It really truly hurt, and you have been good to that person, or you have done everything. Even as professional, you did everything professionally correct, and you've been above and beyond, and the person's still coming for you. That crap hurts, but you got, like you said, forgive not for them, but forgive for yourself. And when you forgive for yourself, that's when the magic gonna happen.
That's when the magic happens. And I think that's what a lot of us miss. And I love how you said that people say forgive and forget. No, I don't think you should forget because the lesson is in sometimes in the hurt that you experience and the pain that you experience. So you don't want to forget the lesson. You want to learn from it so that you know how to move in the future. It's a lesson in those type of things. So we got to come in here. So he said, did a vision board last year, but was disappointed that I didn't accomplish hardly anything on the board. Is it common that people will create it but not put the effort into bringing it to fruition?
Yes, I was one of them years ago. Oh, I'm being transparent. Sometimes it look nice. You put a vision board. Yes, but it's up to you. When you're ready to, put your vision into reality, it's up to you. So when you get to that point, like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm ready for this to happen. I'm ready for my promotion. This is the steps I need to get that promotion. And God may say, hey, you're not gonna get that promotion at this job. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be open. So yes, create another vision board. And this time, I need to do the steps in order and do the work in order to make sure my vision manifests itself.
Yeah. And vision is just like the manifestation is just like planting a seed and watching the plant grow. It takes time.
Mhm. It
You got
takes
to you
time.
got to water it. You got to take care of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes you got to resoil it. So that means when you
Mhm.
resoil, and sometimes that means you got to go back and rethink of
Yeah.
how you're going to implement it and bring it to life because it's not set in stone. So I love that. I love that. So let's talk about this here. So when you hear, let me see, unapologetically me, what do you think, Angie? What does that mean to you?
Well, to me, I it's by embracing my imperfections and listening to my intuitions that molded me to who I am so that I could be true to myself without any regrets. That's it.
That's it. Okay, I love it. That's short and sweet. Short and sweet. Because I'm similar to that. Like so unapologetically me for me means that. And I recently reached this spot. Like I said, I tell people that it's part of my journey all the time. When I turned 50, I felt the most freest I've ever felt in my life, but I felt the most lost that I've ever felt in my life. I just didn't know what 50-year-old John was supposed to look like, who he was supposed to be, and all of that kind of stuff. But the point where I felt the most free is that I reached a place that I've said it before that I didn't care what other people thought about me, that I didn't put energy into that. But once I turned 50, I really took that on. Like really, that became me because at that point I'm like, shit, I done arrived. I'm like, here, I ain't got to call the old folks no more Mrs. and Mr. Hell, I'm old just like you. I just call you by your first name. No, just playing. But it was just like at that point, it's just like I no longer like apologize for my actions, for my
Mhm.
deeds, for the way that I think. It's like
Mhm.
either you accept me for who I am or you don't get any of me. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna allow you to pick and
exactly.
choose what parts of me you want to get. It's all of me or nothing. And that's how I look. And I'm not apologizing to you for me not checking
Mhm.
your boxes.
Exactly. I agree with that. And that's why I keep my circle very I have a lot of associates, but I keep my close friends a small circle because I want people to accept me for me. And my friends know I'm the only child my parents had. And so my friends, my close circle is like my sisters. And I have a lot of cousins, and I mean a big family. But I keep my circle small and tight knit because they accept Angie for Angie. And I know I could be a little spoiled sometimes, like to have my ways sometimes. And nobody better not comment in the comment section, but they love Angie for Angie. Because you need to surround yourself with authentic people. Really, really surround yourself with authentic people. And when I was on my spiritual journey, I stopped flicking people off. Mm-mm. If they bring because the world is made up of energy. And if anybody bring my energy down, I don't need it. It's not for me. It could be work. It could be a guy. It could be a homegirl. If it's bringing my energy down, my vibration low, it's dismissed because I have only one life. And like you said, when you turn 50, although you like in your 30s, it's it's a difference. And I'll be 50 in October. And so I was like, no, mm-mm. If it's not on the same vibration wavelength as me, it got to go. Because that just it. Gotta go.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
and and just for everybody out there, I think unapologetically, how to reach that spot in life and mindset is you just reach a place that you good with you. You
Yeah.
good with you. You good with you. You're good, you're bad, you're beautiful, you're ugly, you're flaws. You just
Mhm.
good with that part of you. And you reach this point that you stop trying to prove to people that they need you or that you're good, or stop apologizing to people
Mhm.
for who you are that may offend them. I mean,
Mhm.
you just got to reach
Yeah.
that point that you good with you.
Yes, exactly. I agree that, you, like you said, stop apologizing for being outspoken. As long as you don't hurt nobody's feelings, because some people think, oh, I'm outspoken, I say what I want to say, but then you being shady. I'm not talking about those people that's like that. Okay, because I know people like that. But just being, vulnerable, or outspoken, or, maybe have a little ADHD or anxiety, and I can't do this right now. It's okay. That's part of me. I'm not saying I have ADHD. I'm just saying some people do.
Yeah,
And they may not be able to, sit still. That's okay. The people that are meant to be in your life that got your back, those people accept it. Okay, my friend got ADHD. She might not need to do this right here, but I got her. Or I got him. You know what I'm saying? So just being authentic and surrounding yourself with, this is the most important thing, authentic people who accept you for you. And you don't have to question it. If you have to question a friendship, a relationship, a family, you know what I'm saying? If I have to question you, you're my relative and not my family. And so just surround yourself by good, wholehearted people, because like I said, you got one life to live. And tomorrow I
yeah,
promise nobody. It's just not. So
yeah.
yeah.
So he came back with a comment. He said, maybe I had too much on it. So is there a such thing as maybe having too much on your vision board? Can you have too much on your vision board?
No, because some people is overachievers. Those kind of people like overachievers. Like go ahead, But no, if you want to write 100,000 things, that's on you. Just make sure that you're doing everything in the world. Don't be a busybody, get on everybody's nerves. But if have 5 things, if you have one thing, but just when you're ready, and just kind of narrow it down. But don't have too much. Don't. My suggestion is not to have too much on it. So you won't feel like because see, when you don't accomplish one thing or feel like something's unreachable, then I know as humans, we could be like, everything else could feel like it's just too far in the distance to reach. So try to narrow it down. And like, I want to go to Africa before I'm 50. I don't know how, who, with, I don't know where, but I remember we talked about this. I just want to go to Africa. It's on my vision board, but I don't know how. So guess what? And I'm gonna go to Bali. I want to go here before I'm 50. But like, okay, Angel, how you gonna do that? So you just never know. But some other things to have my vision boards I know is reachable, but I had to put in the work. So just have what you want on it, but don't overdo it. Just don't overdo it. Yeah, but have fun with it. If you
Nice,
see you want
nice.
to get married, this year, pray to God, I want to get married, and start going to places where you find good women or good men or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do dating sites. I don't know, but
And we ain't limiting, well, I'm not limiting God at all. But if you single right now, you talk about I want to be married by the end of the year, that's
it can happen.
it
It,
can happen.
it may not be the person that God has for you, but you could be married.
Just go on the show Love is Blind like Bartiz was on, and you'll be okay. It happened in 2 months.
Yeah,
So
see, that's what you're looking for. There you go. It came into reality.
yeah, so Pat says hurt will put a strong hold on your life. A strong hold on your life. And I do agree with what do you think about that?
Yes, indeed, it will be. It will. Yes, Miss Patricia, Pat. Yes, ma'am. It will put a strong hold on your life. I agree. I agree. I'm telling you, I walked through those shoes, being hurt, and I allowed somebody just to hold me down. And that person lived their best life.
Mm,
They're living their best life. They're going to sleep at night. I'm here crying, wondering why. So yes, hurt, and that's where your spiritual life plays an effect.
okay. So,
Yeah, your spiritual life has to really be strong because you can't prevent being hurt, but you can prevent how long, you can prevent how you go about being hurt. So you can prevent, like I tell people all the time, you can prevent nobody from doing nothing to you. It's your reaction that you can prevent.
nice. I love that.
Mhm.
So you might have a client here. So he came back. He said, laughing out loud, 100K and don't compete, plead nothing. Okay. So he want 100K. Okay, yeah, let's see how that works out for you.
Okay, look, put $1 million for me. Let's see. Play the lottery a couple times a week. Like, yeah.
Since you're not gonna do nothing to get this 100K, yeah, put $1 million down for me too and
Yeah,
complete
okay.
nothing. Yeah, I like that. So
My Angie,
yeah,
she playing the lottery. She know with some numbers. You never know. Rat. What is it? I can't see these glasses.
no,
You know
that
what
was
I
right on it.
mean?
Yeah, so yeah, so go ahead, put down on your vision board 1 million for John and 1 million for Angie, and we're gonna go with that. Okay,
Yes.
so Andrew, let's talk about. So we talked about unapologetically me because I think when you get into that place of being unapologetic, the
Mhm,
version of yourself,
mhm,
and we talked a little bit about that. So let's talk about healing your past because we all have a past. And I
mhm,
think a lot of times our past prevent us from being unapologetic because
mhm,
we've been bruised and broken so many times that we doubt ourselves. We
mhm,
doubt. We're believing what a lot of the crap that people have told us. So
mhm.
how do you think someone can heal their past?
Oh, yeah. Reflection. Um, just reflect on how it hurt, why it hurt, and then how you can move on from it. Um, because I it's some things I've been hurt for a lot. And then when just looked at myself in the mirror, you get to a place like in your past and someone hurt you. I don't know, have you ever taken a shower and you are sitting down in that shower, letting the water just come on your head because you can't do no more. You're just crying in that shower. You really hit your lowest point. You really hurt. And so when you really want to get out of that dark place, and people say pray about it and this and this and this, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear it because we know we got to pray about it. We know we got to put in God's hand. We know we got to do all that. Everybody tell you the same thing, but you really got to know your worth and how to come out of it. And the ways to do that: journaling. You don't have to tell everybody your business or go to everybody. Just find your quiet place, cry it out, and then move the hell on. And by doing so, you just find some things that you like to do. If it's fine dining, going to movies, start doing things that you like to do because you got to get yourself up out of that hurt space. And that is the hardest thing to do. How do I get myself out of being hurt that you just don't understand? You don't know which way to turn. So for me, it was my spirituality. I tapped into it. I tapped into saying, you know what? Not only God got me, He gave me a spiritual team because I have some things called ancestors, my guardian angels that watches over me. I cried to them. I start saying, this is not how you want me to be, ancestors. Because see, I right now live my life to make them proud. I do everything for my ancestors. I'm trying to give back. So I even say, hey, get me out this rut. What do I need to do? So I just start doing things I like to do. I mean, it's going to take time. And then I start saying and realizing this person have a stronghold on me, or that job have a stronghold on me, or whoever got a stronghold on me because I don't feel like I'm good enough. But then when you know who the hell you are, and then when you know what God made you are, who God made you, and your strength, you will come out that dark space like you ain't never been in there. And then just get your, because this world is surrounded by energy, get your aura up. Start listening to high vibrational music. Start listening to more if you gospel music. Not the stuff that make you cry or put tears in your eyes. Just start your eyes as your window of your soul. So start looking at reading books, reading just spiritual books, just reading things that would make you come up out of that rut. And so it's going to be a process because when I tell you, I've been through it. I've been through it when I cried every day. And if I didn't have my mom, I don't know how I would have got through it. And find someone that will pray for you when you can't pray for yourself. Find if you don't have a mother, find a grandmother, you have a friend. That's why I said choose your people you surround yourself with very closely. So find you somebody. It could be an old coworker. It could be anybody. Find you that one person that you could trust. Because when you can't pray for yourself, that person could pray for you. And for me, that was my mother. And so her prayers, when I gave up on life, got me through. And I also had the mentality of, F it, it's going to be good. And when I started saying that, I'm not about to curse, I don't know if my mom watching and my aunties and uncles watching. So when I started getting that mentality of F it, because you're really saying, universe, you got it. It's good. Everything will be good. So I had to get to that place. And that's when everything started lining up. I started feeling better. It's kind of weird, but I started feeling a lot better because it was out of my control. My hurt and pain was out of my control. What people thought about me was out of my control. Although it was falsified lies, it was out of my control. I can't make people respect me, but you damn sure not gonna treat me wrong. And I'm gonna give you that energy. So I just said F it. And then I had someone that was praying for me when I could pray for myself. And when I really just did give a crap anymore, that's when, and knowing who I am, that's when stuff started changing. That's when I started like, okay, my self-confidence coming back. Because see, people could put your self-confidence to like here because they'll make you feel like you're not good enough. But when you start knowing who you are, it's gonna expand. So yeah, you just have to, do little things that will help
Yeah.
get over that pain.
And Yolanda said, yep, acknowledging the hurt and then determining what you need to do to heal. And I 100% agree with that. And I love how you said you reached that place of F it,
Mm-hmm.
F it, I don't care. But because I believe, and when I started the whole healing journey for myself, I was 38. But I realized in that moment, healing is a choice. And I
Mm-hmm.
love how Yolanda said you acknowledge the hurt and then determine what you need to do to heal. So
Mm-hmm.
healing is a choice. You have to consciously make a decision that I'm no longer going to be stuck in this rut. I'm
Mm-hmm.
no longer going to be bound by these thoughts and words that people have spoken over my life. And I'm not going to allow this relationship or me being fired from this job to keep me down anymore. You have to make a choice that I'm going to be better, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to live better, because your thoughts are always going to be there with you. They're always
Mm-hmm.
going to be there to remind you of your past. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to make that choice that I'm going to be better. I'm going to be healed from this and I'm coming out of it. And then
Yes.
you have to make those active decisions to
Mm-hmm.
get better. And it's not easy.
It's
It's
not.
not yeah, it's not an easy task. And that's why you have to be patient with yourself when you're going through the healing process, because it's going to be time when you make that decision to be healed. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
always mean that you're not going to think about the stuff that hurt you. No, you're going to be reminded of it at times. And
Mm-hmm.
when those times happen, again, that's where forgiveness come into play.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us are dealing with brokenness from our parents. We have to forgive our parents for doing things that they did and accept that it's not
Mm-hmm.
our fault. We didn't do anything to deserve what
Mm-hmm.
our parents did to us. In some cases, those people who are dealing with that, you
Mm-hmm.
didn't do those type of things to get that type of treatment or whatever it may be. You have to make a choice that I want to be better. I no longer want to live in this mindset, in this space. And you make that choice and you start putting in the work.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you have to give yourself grace too. Because I know some people are like, I need to be healed. Oh my God, I should be feeling this way. Give yourself some grace because you're human. And then when you give yourself some grace, now come up out of it. Come on out. Like you said, do the action, do the work. You have to do the work. But always give yourself some grace because we could be our worst and hardest critics. Because at the end of the day, those people who did us wrong, did us dirty, they are still sleeping at night while we are still suppressing, like, oh my God, this person did this, and now we're feeling so down. But just remember, I kind of got over a lot of mine because I feel like that person, the people who did me wrong, they're sleeping. They're resting while I'm crying. And I'm like, oh hell no. It was like a wake up call for me. Oh no, this not. Mm-mm, mm-mm. When I'm driving, I'm crying, tears rolling down my face. I'm listening to gospel music, and sometimes those old school gospel music make you cry a little harder. And I can't see on the highway. I'm like, oh no, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. So they're not doing this. So yeah, just do the actions.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be well worth it.
Yeah. And I
Mhm,
love how you just said, because extend grace, because that is something, I mean, I have a therapist
mhm,
and everything, and that's something we talk about every session. They always tell me extend grace to yourself.
mhm.
Extend grace to yourself, because a lot of times when we're going through the healing process, or we're going through transitions in our life, we think it's going to be automatic. We think,
Exactly.
oh, well, I'm going to be done. And then another thing that I've learned that we get caught up into is that we're listening to people around us, and they be like, oh, well, if that happened to me, I would have did this, or I would have done this. Now, these are people that are not walking in your shoes. They're
Oh,
on
I
the
keep
outside
listening. Yes.
looking in, so they can tell you what
Mhm,
they would do, because they're not experiencing the hurt and
mhm,
disappointment and betrayal and all of these feelings
mhm,
that you're feeling. So you begin to think like, I'm weak
mhm,
because I'm still crying over this here.
mhm,
No, healing
mhm.
is your own journey, and
Yes.
it's on your own time frame. So you have to extend yourself grace. I just shared with someone the other night, and I put this on Facebook. A lot
Mhm,
of times we have to extend grace to ourselves for loving the wrong people. We have to extend grace because we sometimes we can love the wrong people that hurt us, that
mhm,
do us bad, and we feel like a fool. We
mhm,
feel like stupid, and how could I have allowed them to treat me this way, and how I didn't see the sign. Sometimes you just have to extend grace to yourself for loving the wrong people, for trusting the wrong people, for
mhm,
being connected to the wrong people. It's so many things we have to give ourselves grace for, and I think that's something
mhm.
that a lot of people miss. And Yolanda said, grace for your journey. Healing takes time.
It
Yeah, grace
does.
for your journey.
And
Yeah.
I like the way you said,
Yeah. Simone said, yes, you have to forgive to move on. So
yes.
true, done.
I remember, and I like the way what you said that you have a therapist. Sometimes you may have to have different outlets. You know, if you need therapy, go. I went to therapy before, you know, and I went there like a little drama queen. She was sitting there, and I was like, she had a sofa, and I'm like, ma'am, I want the whole experience. Can I lay on your sofa, my hands behind my back and my feet up? And she's like, ma'am, go ahead. I was like, no. And I just let it rip. I want the experience. I want to look at the ceiling, just let her have, and she was probably like, "Oh my lord!" And so, just go to different outlets. Um, if you therapy, if you need therapy, journal. That's when I stopped going to therapy. Therapy, I just started journaling. I'm like, this helps because sometimes you may not want to talk to somebody, and sometimes you may not want to go to your homegirl, homeboy, or husband, wife, whatever, friend, mother, daughter. You may just want to have your own thoughts, so you just want to write them down. So that's why I have those. I created those journals, and most of my journals have like affirmations and prayers about loving yourself, moving on, and just really good empowerment quotation quotes. So you could read them and write down, and it just it helps. I got a lot of good feedback that it did help some people.
Nice, nice. So let's
Mhm.
talk about embracing your present, where you are today in life, like being content and happy with what you have. How hard is that for people to just embrace where they are in life? How hard is that for people, Angie? Or hard is that hard for you?
No, not anymore. It was. It was. I'm being authentic. It was. It used to be real hard just to embrace who I am at that current time. And so when I start embracing, like this is where God has me, and I'm okay with that. Until He opened His door here or He opened that window over here, I'm fine. And when I started accepting it, that is when mountains was actually moved for me. And that's when I start loving myself more, start living my life, just traveling, doing this, just embracing my present. Because tomorrow gonna come regardless. It may not be a good day tomorrow, it may not be a bad day. Who knows? But at the end of the day, embrace your present, what you have now. And
But
then
social media tell us we don't have enough. Are we made? Because when you're looking at social media and you're looking at everybody else's wins, and people always forget
yeah,
people only post their wins. They ain't posting their losses
it's
because
not.
we all got a loss every now and then. But
Mm-mm.
so looking at people's page, you would think like what you have and who you are is not enough. So how do
Yeah.
you not
Be
fall?
on social media because sometimes I be scrolling. I'm guilty. I'm like, God, hey, this person living her best life, and I'm over here with 2 degrees. And you started measuring yourself with, but what that person have is that person's blessing, and what I have is where I supposed to be. And so sometimes I have to do a social media cleanse, not be on social media for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, a month, just to stop, because it's easy to compare yourself with somebody else on social media. I didn't see somebody, I'm about to judge, but I'm like, how she got a good husband? And I know she was in college, you know, and I had to stop. I had to literally stop because that will play with your emotions. And then you start thinking you're not good enough, and you start comparing apples to oranges. So yeah, social media is just what it is. Because people don't post their failures. I'm a private person, and I don't post, failures where somebody say, "Hey, Angie, ask a question." I'm gonna be transparent. Look, girl, I've been through some things. This is what I've been through. This and this and this and this. It's gonna be good. You good? God got you. So yeah, social media can play a factor, but
Yeah, and I tell people all the time when you compare yourself to others, you're always going to come up short because
mm,
you're comparing your reality to your perception
mm, yes.
of their life. You don't know what's going on behind
Mhm,
closed doors. You don't know if these people are really happy. You don't know
mhm,
what that woman is doing to keep that car, to keep that man, to keep that husband, that life she has, or that man, what he's doing to, be able to travel and do everything that he's doing. So you can never ever compare your reality
mhm,
to someone, the perception you have of someone else. I've just learned to start just being more appreciative of what I do have. And when I'm
mhm.
more appreciative of what I have, I see more coming to me.
Oh, I
I,
like that. Yes,
yeah, I
yes.
see more coming to me because it places me in a position that I'm
Mhm,
constantly grateful for what I
mhm,
have, and it just
mhm.
opens up the door because my energy
Yeah.
changes. I'm
Yes.
like it opens me up. So learn
Yeah.
to be more appreciative for what you have because it only opens you up for more.
Exactly. You know what? And since we're talking about that, I have a journal and it's a gratitude journal, right? And it's only you write about what you're grateful for. And when you say it opens up, the universe is like, oh, wow, it does something. And that is when your blessings are really going to pour. And my gratitude journal has only gratitude prayers, not asking God for anything, not praying for anything. It's just saying, God, thank you. That's all the gratitude journal is about, just saying thanks. And so when you are really grateful for what you are now, I don't care what situation you're in, you could have you could be going through something medical, like emergency, whatever, but say, God, I thank you for letting me have another day. And you just never know the outpour of your blessing. Just being grateful for everything. That is a true definition. People are like manifest, manifest. This manifest word started appearing like 2, 3 years ago. Everybody want to manifest, but it's just not writing down on a vision board or writing down on a journal or writing it down. It is actually being grateful for what you have, and then that's when your blessing is going to really outpour. So just being grateful, yes. Sometimes just wake up and say, God, thank you for letting my bed be my bed and not in a morgue. Just thank you. And so, yeah, just being grateful. So I totally agree. Because when
Yeah.
you really be grateful, that's when the outpour of blessings really gonna come your way.
Yeah,
Any-
it just It just come, it just comes, it
Mhm.
just comes. So we
Mhm.
have some comments here. So Yolanda said something. She said, "Get off social media because we posting what we want you to see." Laughing out loud. It's so true. We posting the wins, not the losses.
Mhm.
And then Marsha said, "Don't get caught up in the highlight reel."
Mhm.
Exactly. People are picking and choosing what parts of their
Mhm.
life is they want to highlight, and yeah,
Mhm.
you
I agree
just
with
you
Marshall.
yeah, you
Mhm.
can't get caught up in that. And I just, like I shared with a buddy yesterday, and it's just the small things, and I'm just like forever grateful. I'm just reminded of small things. So I'm a musician at a church,
Mhm.
and yesterday after church was over, I forgot to give my check.
Mhm.
I forgot to give my check. I done left the church and about 5-10 minutes away from the church, and it hit me that hey, I forgot my check. But I remember the time when I would sit in the church and wait for them to give me my check because I was just that broke. I
Mm.
needed the money. So
Mhm.
to be in a place now where I can walk away from a situation and don't even think that I got paid or
Mhm.
not, that's a
Mhm.
blessing. And in that moment, and this is not boasting or anything, but I thanked God for where I am today because I remember where
Mhm.
I was.
Mhm.
And in moments like that, like I said, I don't live a half empty or half full
Mhm.
glass. I just see something in the glass, and I'm grateful something is in the glass. So I
Mhm.
just tell people, that are watching, get to a place where you just content and happy with
Mhm.
what you have. It may not be everything that you want today,
Mhm.
and manifest. And everybody, like you said, everybody's into manifesting, but it's work in manifesting because you
Mhm.
got to trust. First, you got to see it, then you got to trust God is going to give it to you, and then you got to believe that He's going to give it to you in those hard moments. So it's not just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna have a
Mhm.
Lamborghini by the end of the year." No, you got to still
Yeah.
trust. You got to
Yeah.
believe. You got to do all the speak it constantly and all that other kind of stuff. So, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So let's see what we got here. Look at God blessing you. You better believe that, Pat. Thank you, God. Yes, I'm
Yes.
grateful for that. So
Yeah.
let's go to the next part here. So we're talking about embracing our presence. So let's talk about living your future. Let's talk about the manifestation life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm talking about going to Africa. But anyway, yes. That's my vision board. God
That's
bless.
gonna be it. Like I told you last night, I'm waiting to watch you post a picture of you on the airplane.
Oh
You
my
going?
God.
I'm waiting to see it manifest. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So yeah, just living your future. You know what? It's just gonna tie back into being grateful for what you have now. And that's how your future will be determined about your gratefulness right now. Simple. That's it. Just being grateful for your present in order for your future to be as, because see, I feel that when you really grateful and you put in the work, you be true to yourself, you humble to God, or who, some people have prayed, you humble and you do right by others, God will give you more than you expected to receive. He really would. He would. Your expectations would be like this, but what he give you is gonna be like this. And so, even for my future, I don't know what my future holds. And but I just say, God, I trust you because I know who you are. Because I've been in situations like you. I've been in situations where you hear people like, "Oh, when God closed the door, another one open." I've been in places where the door was closed and the other one was shut tight. It didn't have a crack in the window. I was just in a dark space. Like, why? But then when I had that attitude, the effort, but really it wasn't toward anything. It was just like toward, I'm not even worried about it anymore. That was the attitude. I'm not worried about it anymore. And when I started worrying, and that's when it started getting better. So for me, my living in my future is just being grateful for what today is and have my vision and working on, my business. That is it. That
Yeah,
is it for
yeah, yeah.
me.
And I
Hmm.
think for me, when I look at living your future, I think it's three phases of us. And I think, your past, your present, and your future. Your
Mhm.
past is who uh your present is who your past made you, and your
Mhm.
future is who your present is creating.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times we, you know, like we have to see ourselves in the future. And that's like even in the healing journey, like when you make that choice to be healed from whatever it is,
Mhm.
and you working towards the future, you have to see yourself in the future, and you have
Mhm.
to act as though you are better, you know, better than where you are in the current state. And just moment of transparency, I never forget when I first started the Dope Ass Dude podcast, and
Mhm.
during that time, I didn't feel dope. I can't even lie. When I first started this whole brand thing, I was going through a lot in my life. I was going through a transition. And
Mhm.
at some parts of that year, I was in my worst state, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. But I used to always say, when I would do that stuff, when I was feeling some kind of way, I'll be like, dude,
Mhm.
the dope ass dude wouldn't be feeling this way, or this ain't dope for you to be thinking this, and all this other kind of stuff. So I
Mhm.
started trying to become a dope ass dude, because in
Yeah.
the beginning I didn't feel that way. I didn't
Mhm.
feel it. So
Mhm.
I saw myself in the future, and I've started, and I'm still working, because I still have a level of dopeness that I want to get to. So I
Mhm.
still see myself there, and I work to be that workplace. I talk like I think that person is going to talk. I do the things that person, I think my future person is going to appreciate. I
Mhm.
invest in things that I think my future person is going to appreciate. So I'm doing everything today for my future version of me.
Yes.
That when in a year from today, my future version is going to look back at me today and be like, I'm proud of that dude. And
Yeah.
thank you for persevering it. So I think, again, your past
Mhm.
makes your present, and your present is creating your future. So
Mhm.
everything you are doing today is shaping who you're going to be tomorrow. So
Yeah.
that is why it is so important that you make wise decisions with
Mhm.
who you're dealing with, what you're entertaining, what
Mhm.
you're feeding yourself, and I'm talking physically and mentally, because
Mhm.
that all impacts
Mhm.
your future
Yes,
person.
I totally agree. Like you said, what you're feeding yourself, I have an Apple playlist, and I have one called High Vibrations. So a lot of my songs are just very like Tony. What's her name? Forgot. What's her name? What's that woman named Tony Brown, I think. And she's very spiritual, and so she was like talking about energy and vibration. It's like a little, little. It's real jazzy, and I listen to feminine, high energy woman music. Just embracing your feminine self, and that gives me that glow, because sometimes when you walk in rooms you want to have that glow, or and what I did do, and it helped me a lot to shape my future. I went to dinner with my higher self. And how that looked, I took a journal, one of my journals, and I went to one of my favorite restaurants, which is Eddie V's, everybody know. And I sat down with my higher self. And me and my higher self had a dinner together. It may sound crazy to some people, but it worked for me. I know what I wanted to be in the future, how I want to look, the size I want to be, the money I want in my checking account, where I want to travel, how I want God to enlarge my territory, how I want to help and give back to the community. That's one of my biggest things. Um, how my nonprofit to look, you know, because everything not about me, me, me. I have to give back. And so I wrote in my journal to my higher self. Okay. And it's like I was having a conversation, not physically talking, because I want about when I'm at the restaurant. But I had my nice little, food. And I visioned myself of how I wanted to be. And so I wrote it down. I was just journaling, like, dear higher self, this is what I expect of you. And I was really writing it down. And so I wanted to lose this much weight, for health purposes. I wanted to do this. I wanted that. I wanted this business. I wanted to be able to help, this group of people. I wanted to send books to Africa, Africa. And so, to children, I wanted to adopt a school in Africa. I just wanted so much, things. And I wrote it down to my higher self. I wanted fly first class. I mean, just even things I wanted, don't need, but wanted. It's okay to want.
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
this and this and this and this, I wrote to all my higher self. So I envisioned how I wanted to be. And I had dinner with my higher self. And then I left feeling filled. And that is when I went to work, literally went to work. And I started working on all of it. Now, do I have everything completed? No, but it's a working process. So that's when my living from the future looks for me. When I went to dinner with my higher self, what
Yeah.
does I want to be? And
Absolutely. I love that. And look here, you may have a travel buddy with you. O'Shea said Africa
oh,
is one of my goals too. So hey, y'all
let's go, O'Shea.
con- yeah, connect on Instagram and y'all can just send me pictures of y'all going to Africa. I'll be going to Australia, but y'all going to Africa. And and then Yolanda said, I can speak all the things that I want, but I still have to pray, plan, and take action as I'm trusting God to bring it to pass. Exactly. That manifestation is still work you got to do. You got to trust, you got to pray, you still got to act on it. And then Yolanda, I'm thinking she's saying about the dinner with the higher self. She said, I love that. And then O'Shea came back and said, a date with your higher self. I got to try that. I love it. Yeah, I think
And
that
don't
is
take
amazing.
nobody with you. It's just you and your higher self, not your buddies, nobody. Just go with your higher self. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think, again, your
Mm-hmm.
past has shaped who you are, and your present is shaping who you're going to be.
Yes.
So decisions now and that whole dinner with your higher self, I think that is amazing as well.
Yes.
Just go ahead and like think, who do you want to be? And
Mm-hmm.
then start, making those type of things happen. And yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
life life is limitless if we
Yeah.
make it.
And
So
I just think if you have your vibrations really high, get your vibrations high, and that's when your manifestations going to come to pass. But you have to walk as if you already have them in order for your manifestations to come into reality. So if you say, I give me something. Um,
thread counts on sheets. No, I'm just playing.
okay, so guess what? You you had to land those as oh, these sheets are comfortable. You know what sheets you want, but you land these sheets like, oh, these sheets are so comfortable. I just love my how many thread count you want?
Oh, I don't sleep on anything less than 2,000.
Oh, okay. So I I can't stand.
That's
Okay.
what my higher self told me, Joy, you better than 2,000. So we're not sleeping on no 300 thread counts. I'm
So
sorry.
you know
I'll do
what?
it in the hotel because that
More
I
like
got to.
800 seem like, oh, so guess what? Oh, I love my 3,000 thread count sheets. They feel good. You see, you speaking to as if it has happened. And that's and that's when, oh my God, I can't stand you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Okay, no,
you
okay. So let me tell y'all this. So this is an inside joke, and we got to close out to this here. But this really is an inside joke. So I always tell people like, so sheets are like super important to me. So like, I want to sleep on white sheets, and they have to be a certain thread count. That is true. I'm sorry, just have to be a certain thread count. So when I went to Nashville back in October, my sisters they came over and they stayed all night with me the night before I left. So I told them, I said, hey, yeah, I said, I don't sleep on 300 thread count sheets and everything. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I just don't sleep on them. So what they said, and they didn't realize, so in my guest bedroom, I have the same sheets that are on my bed. For my guests, I want them to experience the same pleasures that I experienced. So what they did was they said, we're going to sleep in your bed. I said, okay, whatever. So all three of my sisters like piling up in my bed. So my youngest sister, she get in there and she was like, oh my God, these sheets feel amazing. And they was like going in and like, do you have pillow top mattresses and everything like that? But I'm like, hey, this is what I believe I deserve.
mm-hmm.
This is what I believe I deserve. So
You don't
it's
feel
like,
guilty about it.
don't feel guilty about it. And that's why I say, whatever
Mm-mm.
you want in the future, start getting it and doing
Mm-mm.
it today where you are today. So by the time I get there, hopefully they have 30,000 thread
Oh
count
my
sheets and I'll
gosh.
be sleeping on it.
We all have that little guilty pleasure. Because for me,
All of it.
I like first class, right? And so, but I put my high self, I ain't gonna lie, I put my high self, I want a private jet to go, So maybe when we go to Africa, we have a private jet. Oh, who that was O'Shea?
Oh, shit.
I put it down for my, I didn't want to see folks, but I did put it down, like I want to experience that one day. I may, experience it sooner or later, but even if I go up the street, just let me get on the jet and say, hey, I want a private jet. This if I go to the next city, I don't care. I just want to experience that one time. And I wrote it down in my little journal. I did. I don't know what's gonna come to pass, but I may have to speak it.
All of you out there listening, whatever you want in life, I do believe this here. Start today. Whatever you want in the future, start being that person today. And start experiencing some of those things that you want and loving you, because you only have one life to live. I ain't saying go out and go broke trying to be that person, but start living and thinking like that person and making moves like the person that you want to be. And it eventually don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Don't feel guilty. So let's see what we got here. So O'Shea said, let's go. I'm working on the private jet now. Okay, O'Shea. Okay. Hey, I'll drop y'all off in Africa and keep going on to Australia.
Oh, Australia. What is Australia? What is in Australia?
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. I'm telling y'all, that's where I'm going. So Pat says, sleeping like a king, bingo, you know it. And this cat said, bougie, not at all. Just like to sleep, like I'm in a cloud. Okay. Okay. So we good there. So where can we get your books? Angie, where can we get your books?
Amazon have my journals and my children's book. And I also have Etsy treasures mugs that has inspirational quotes on there if you like to drink coffee or hot cocoa. So let me see if can I put it in the chat?
I just put it in there. So there's the link.
Okay.
So I put the link in there. So if you guys want to get her books, there's the link there.
Okay. And it's Great Vibes Treasures. And it have beautiful mugs that I created. And it has, like I said, beautiful quotes on there on the mugs that kind of give you like the little in the morning. So yes, try your higher self. It works. It worked. It really worked. Mm-hmm.
So again, if you want to follow Angie, you can follow her on IG at Creole Author and TikTok at Creole Angie. She is on Facebook. You can go and like her page on Facebook, Angie the Author. You see there's 2 E's, the Author and Life Coach. And then she's also on LinkedIn, Angie Craft, Education/author. So you can find her out there. Masters of Education/author. So you can find her out there on LinkedIn and connect with her there. So go out, support her, get that 2024 vision board and vision board journal. And Angie already told us you can't put too much on your vision board. You can't put too much on your vision board. So yeah. So y'all keep going with that. And Angie, you have any final words for us tonight?
You know what? Just keep living. Do what you want to do, what makes you happy. As long as it don't cause harm to anybody, don't have to apologize for living your life and walking in your purpose. Okay? Because that's your life. And you have one life to live. Okay.
Love it.
Don't overwork because they're gonna replace your work. I have to say that. Because I know some people who overwork at their jobs, they will replace you. So just live your life, enjoy your life, and walk in your purpose.
Nice. And before we go, two shout outs I want to give. I want to give a shout out to Yolanda Hargrove, who creates my gear every week. She styles me every week. She give me my colors. Y'all see every episode this season, I've had on a white tee, but a different color logo. Yolanda comes up with it. I appreciate her there. And then my homegirl, Leslie, who works my chat sometimes. Her birthday is this week. So happy birthday to you, Leslie. the best year of your life. So give those shout outs. And then thank everybody for watching the podcast. 2 more episodes next week. Castle Henry is my guest. He has a podcast, Just Me. So he's my guest. And we're going to be talking about Don't Count Me Out. You know, hey, still time for you to still get your goals. So tell people, don't count me out, because the people who count you out, guess what? They can't count. Bingo. So until next week, and don't forget, click that like button right now on Facebook and on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Twitter. Click them like buttons, and we will see you guys on next week.
Bye.
Peace.